Okay, I hope you can hear me. Yes, good. Thank you. Okay, so my name is Manish, and I'll be covering sessions on Python today and day after tomorrow. Okay, so for this session, the plan is that I'll start with a short presentation, about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll get into the coding part. Okay, so if you have any question, why somebody is saying no sound, and please check your speakers. I think there is something wrong at your end. Okay, so I'll start with this presentation, and if you have any questions, you can interrupt me anytime, but since it's a short presentation, it would be better if you hold your question till the end of this presentation. It would be just about 5 to 10 minutes, not more than that. Okay. So, uh, very low voice. Really? Is my voice clear? I don't know. All is well. Okay, good. Thank you. All is well. Fine. So I'll assume that everything, the audio video is fine, and if there's some problem, there's something at your end, so please try to fix that. Okay, sure. So please take care of that. Okay. So when we talk about Python, okay, so there are some things, basic stuff. We'll try to cover that in this presentation. Let me just start it. Okay. So the first thing is about Python distributions, that when you are working, when you want to do programming, the first thing you need to do is you need to install Python, and that's pretty obvious. So if you have already installed Python, great. And if you haven't, then you can either download the software from python.org, that's the official website, or I would recommend that you should download the Python package from Anaconda website. I'll share on all the links after this presentation, so don't worry about that. The point is, this Anaconda is a Python distribution that has lot many other stuff bundled with Python. So, like for example, IDEs and package managers and so on. So it makes a lot of things easier as we go along in coding. So I'll explain all these things in more details as we go along. Okay. So first thing is Python installation. Next is um, something called as interactive development environments. So what is this interactive development environments is? This is an interface. Okay, so when you are coding, you have to type your code somewhere. So either you can type it in a text editor like Notepad, or if you are on Linux, VI or something, any other text editor. But I would recommend that you should have at least one IDE. So examples of IDEs include PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, Spider, or Jupyter. Now, if you have installed Anaconda, these two comes bundled with this distribution, so you already have that. Now, these why you should have these IDEs is because the coding experience, that when you're typing your code, it becomes a lot easier when you are working with IDEs. So, I mean, and there are things like syntax highlighting, things like code auto completion. So, all those things would really help you, particularly as a beginner, to uh, code effectively, start to enjoy coding. Okay. So, this was about Python distribution and IDEs. I'll share all the links, don't worry about that. Next is advantages. Okay, so if you might have noticed that in the recent past, Python is gaining a lot of popularity. So what are the reasons why Python is getting so much traction in almost every domain, not just in bioinformatics, but everywhere? I mean, people are learning Python and working in Python. So let's just look at some of the advantages that Python has. First is low entry barrier. So as you will see today, that even if you don't have any coding experience, you can start coding right away. So that's a huge advantage with Python, that the entry barrier is very low. I mean, the syntax, as you will see today, is pretty much plain English, so you don't have to worry too much about syntax when you're coding. It's more about logic. Then it's another advantage is it's dynamically typed. So here typed means data type. So when you're working with Python, variables and objects. Some of those objects are dynamically assigned data type. Of course, we'll cover that part, and it would be clear to you as we go along that what is typed and what is dynamically typed. So this is different from languages like C++ or Java, where you have to explicitly specify the data type while declaring variables. So we'll see that later today. And then it's object oriented. So all the advantages that are associated with object oriented languages like C++ or Java are available in Python. You can create your own functions, you can create your classes. So all those advantages are there available to you. Then this is again one of the big advantages with Python, that it has extensive library support. So this means that first of all, what is library? So library is a collection of features. In simple terms, I'm just explaining collection of features that you can use. So when you download Python, there are certain features available to you. Okay, but if you want some more features, or you want some add-on kind of a functionality, then you can use libraries. So now in the next slide, I'll show you some of the examples of libraries. So these libraries helps to work effectively in a particular domain. For example, if you're doing bioinformatics, you can plug in bioinformatics related libraries, and you'll have some additional functionality on top of the core Python distribution. So I'll show you some examples of the library in the next slide. And finally, it's platform independent. This means that unlike C++, for example, where let's say if you have developed a C++ program on Windows, you have Windows executable, and that Windows executable would obviously work only on Windows. It won't work on Linux or Macs. But in case of Python, if you have Python code, if you have written a code on Windows, same code will execute on Linux or Mac. So that's the whole point of being platform independent. Now, talking about libraries, so these are some of the examples of libraries that are available in Python. Again, depending upon what kind of analysis or what kind of coding you want to do, you will use those kind of libraries. For example, if you want to do numerical analysis, you'll use NumPy. For statistical analysis, there is SciPy. For making graphs, there is Matplotlib. For data science related work, there is Pandas. For machine learning, there is sklearn. For bioinformatics, there's Bioinformatics, which we'll cover in the next day after tomorrow session. Okay, so again, this is the advantage, that whichever domain you are working on, you can just plug and play those libraries and get an idea about, get an extra features specific for that domain. Okay, so that's all for the presentation part. Now let's get to the coding part. So we'll be following this book, which is available on bioinfo.guru. So either you can go to bioinfo.guru, then on the resource tab top right, you'll see this Python book link, or you can straight away type this URL in your web browser, and you will get a Python book. Okay, so I'll close this presentation now. Any questions, anyone? Please feel free to ask. You may unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Any advantages of Python versus R?
Oh yes.
Or
Okay.
R over Python?
Okay, good. Yeah, this is like, I mean, every time I give an introduction to Python, I get this question. So
Sir, which one is better for network biology and all?
which one is
Python or R?
Python or R? Okay, so again, the same kind of question, that Python versus R. So this is pretty much a never-ending debate on Python versus R. I'll just share my experience. I mean, there could be experts in R, experts in Python who can give a better answer. I'll just give my answer, that uh, they are very much similar to on a lot of parameters. For example, if you talk about statistical analysis, machine learning, or this network stuff, both of them have, I think most of the features are there. Something missing here, something missing there. Trivial things might be different, but both of them has some dedicated libraries for these kind of things. Like Python has network X. I can speak more about Python network X, machine learning, sklearn, data science related libraries. So all these things can be done. So this is the way they are similar. Now the difference part, I think what you want to get an idea about is the difference. Where does Python and R differ? So they differ. So R was primarily designed for statistical analysis, and even today it's a statistical framework predominantly. So that's where the strengths of R lies. Python is not just a statistical language. Python is a full-fledged language. Okay, just like any other C++ or Java. You don't say C++ is for statistics, or you don't say Java is for statistics, or some specific area. They are general purpose languages. So similarly, Python is a full-fledged language, and you can do a lot more in Python than just statistics, data science, analysis. You can develop apps, you can develop websites, you can develop all web technologies. There's a Python-based web server is also there. So depending upon, the point is that there are many functionalities in Python as compared to R. I hope I have answered that question.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, what is the platform independent? Would you explain it
Sure.
properly?
Sure. Okay. So, when you, I'll first give you an example when it is not platform independent. So, if you work on C++ or C, you write a code and you make a program. And it gives you an executable, basically, an exe file that you see. You can get that from C++. Now, that executable file, so if you have created that executable file on Windows, that file would run only on Windows. You cannot run an exe file on Linux or Mac. And similarly, if you have created an executable file on Linux, you cannot run that executable on Windows. So that's because that means the code is not platform independent. In case of Python, when you write a code, let's say as today we'll write some code and we are writing on Windows, let's say. So that code you can take as it is, that code, and use it on Linux or Mac or wherever, because it doesn't create any executables. Python is an interpreted language, so whatever code is there, it can be executed on any platform, so that any operating system. So that's what it means when we say it's platform independent.
It is executable in every operating system, whatever code we wrote in anywhere.
Yes.
Okay, that is the platform independence, execution wise we can say.
Yes. All right. Okay. So let me open that Python book and show you what we're gonna cover today. So I think there are many chapters in the book. So I think we'll start with the strings part. So let me just show you the book first. Quickly show you the book part, and what it is and how we are going to work with that. So this is the book, and there's introduction and then setup. You can go through these parts. So here are the links. Okay, so for today, if you have Python installed, it's fine, good. You can use your local installation. In case you do not have Python installed, then you can open this Google Colab link. Okay, so this Google Colab is basically a Jupyter environment. Okay, so this, as I specifically give you mentioned in the introduction, that there are some IDEs. Jupyter is one of the IDEs, and Google Colab is a cloud-based Jupyter by Google. So you can use that, and you can just type your code there for today. And after this today's session, you must install Python locally, because day after tomorrow it would be better if you have local installation. Okay. So just download this, or not. If you just open this and log in with your Google account, and you'll be able to use Jupyter. And so today we'll be covering this strings part, and you can just click on this part, and you'll be able to copy the entire code and then paste it on either Google Colab, or if you have local Python, you can paste this code there. So practice. Okay, so I'll open my local Jupyter. I'll close this. I'll open my notebook, Jupyter notebook, so that we can start coding. Just a minute, I'll share my screen. Okay. Okay, so I hope you can see the notebook screen. Yes. Oh, good. Okay, so I hope you are also ready with your IDE, either locally or on Google Colab, because the best way to learn programming is by coding. So make sure you are coding alongside. Okay. And at any point, if you have any questions, please feel to interrupt and you unmute yourself, or you can talk. Okay. So to start with, let me just give you an idea about. Let's start with this print hi. So if on Google Colab you will see a play button over here. Just click that play button and you will see the output. So now if you look at this code, print hi, it prints hi. Okay, so this is very intuitive. I mean, you don't even have to have a programming background or a computer science background to understand what's going on. You just look at it, okay, print hi, prints hi. That's pretty simple. Now, let's understand from programming or from computing perspective that what exactly is going on when we say print hi. So first of all, whenever we have some word or keyword with parentheses open and close, this kind of a construct is called as a function. So print is a function. Okay, so we'll be working with lot many functions. So whenever you have some word keyword parentheses open close, it's called as a function in programming terms. Now what exactly is a function? Function is a set of code, set of programming code in case of Python, in this case in Python code, which would get executed every time we say print. Function is basically a you can say a name assigned to a multiple lines of code. So instead of typing all those lines all over again, we assign a name and it does it. So when you install Python, this print function's definition, that what exactly to do when someone types print, that is already defined in the Python software. So when we say uh, print hi, it prints hi because in the print function definition, it's mentioned that whatever is inside parentheses, it should print that. So that's the idea behind print function. And it's also defined that it should print on screen and not on the printer, for example. So all these things have been defined in the print function definition within the core Python software. So this was about print, and now we'll be focusing on strings because when we are working with bioinformatics data, we are primarily working with strings. For example, DNA sequences or protein sequences; those are strings. So it's very useful to have an understanding of text data. How programming languages deals with text and what all we can do with text. So because sequences are basically text. So we'll learn about in this session we'll learn about some of the concepts related to strings, and a day after tomorrow we'll try to apply those in bioinformatics. So when we say x equals within quotes string a, so what this part is doing is that it is declaring a variable called x, and this equal to in programming term is called as an assignment operator. So there is a chapter on variables and operators. You should read that after this. So this is called as an assignment operator, and this is the value. So when we write x equals string a, what it means is initialize a variable called x and assign it a value string a. So this is how you read this statement in terms of programming. Similarly, when we say var2 equals another variable, and so again it would initialize a variable var2 with a and assign a value of this value, another variable. Now, before we continue in the presentation, I mentioned about dynamically typed or dynamic data typing. So here we have not specified that what kind of data type is X. Is it a string data type? Is it a number? We have not mentioned that. So this is not the case when you are coding in C++, for example. There you'll have to specify whether it's X is a number or X is a text while you are initializing that variable. So for example, if you say X is equal to 5, in C++ you can't say X, here you can say X is equal to 5, for example. So X value would be 5. But in C++, you'll have to say int X equals to 5. So you have to declare the data type at the time of initialization. So this is an advantage here, that you do not have to specify the data type for a new programmer, so that they don't get confused with this kind of a syntax. So X is equal to 5 is much more intuitive than int X equals to 5. So that's an advantage for those who are new to programming. So now that, okay, let's continue with this. X is equal to string a, var2 is equal to another variable, and then we say print x, print var2. So it prints string a and another variable. Now notice that it has not printed x and it has not printed var2, because x now is a variable, and in the print function, when we pass a variable as an argument to the print function, it prints the value of the variable and not the variable itself. And if we say within quotes, let's say we do this, then it would print x, because if it is within quotes, it's no longer a variable, but it's a string itself. Okay. Now again, you can check the type of a variable by using the type function.
Sir, here we don't need the new line character.
New line character?
Here we don't need the new line character for changing the line while
No, we
printing.
don't. No, we don't. That's inbuilt in the print statement.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So those who didn't understand the question, in certain languages you have to explicitly specify new line character to go to the next line. Otherwise, it would print right next to this. So that was the question. Anyways, so print type x. Type is another function. Notice this part. If we have type, so type bracket open close parenthesis and print x. So let's say if we have, if we have y equals 4, print type y, that would be int. So every variable has a data type assigned to it. That means, or every variable is an object of a particular class. So that's the idea behind object oriented programming, that whatever you are working on, whatever variable you are working on is an object, and this type basically tells you that it's an object of which class. So depending upon what kind of object you are working on, you'll have certain functionality associated with that object, which means that x is a string object, so you can do certain things with x, and y is an int object, and then you can do some other things with y, and there are some things you cannot do with x and some things you cannot do for y. Str is string, so string is a class. String, it's a term used for text, any kind of text.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in string, that single quotes, that time it was printed string. That time single quotes was a character.
No.
Maybe I
So
was confused a little bit.
no, this part you are saying single quotes.
Actually, it printed in single quote. When it was in single quotes, then it printed a string A, and
Yeah.
when it was in double quotes X, so it printed X simply.
Yes, correct.
So what do you
So
actually I do not got this thing.
okay, good. Okay, that's fine. So when we are typing print X, okay, and so in these two statements, print X and print quote X, what's the difference? So when there is quotation mark, so quotation mark means that you are giving a string as an argument to print. So by the way, whatever goes inside these brackets is called as an argument. Okay, so this print is a function, hi is an argument. Okay, so so if you are passing a string as an argument, so any text within double quotes is a string. So if you are passing string as an argument, it would print that string. But if you are passing a variable as an argument, it would print the value of that variable. So if we run this, we get string A, and in this case we'll get X.
Even the double, okay, I forgotten that time. Okay, that is the argument one we are getting. Okay, fine. So
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in the print statement, the double quotes and the single quotes in the variable that you have assigned,
Uh-huh.
how is it different from
There
Perl?
no
In
there's no
Perl,
difference.
sir, in Perl, like if we use double quotes and
Uh,
in single quote, the output differs, right?
output differs, really?
Yes, sir. Perl has different meaning when you use a double quote and single quote.
Okay,
So I was
uh,
thinking there it is.
no, in this case there is no difference, and I don't remember I have done Perl long ago, but I don't think that should be different. But if it is different, maybe it could be different. I don't remember that. But in
Okay,
this case, there is no difference.
okay, sir. Please
Yeah.
continue.
It is converted into string part after double quotes addition.
Yes.
Okay, and firstly it was a character or some kind of other variable or something kind of
Uh,
normal kind of assigning variable, and
yeah. This.
after
Uh,
double quotes we get into string type of thing.
yes.
That is
Yes. Yes. So in first case, x is a variable treated as a variable, so its value would be printed. In second case, x, this is a string. This is not a variable now, so it's as it is string would be printed. It's just like printing hi. Okay.
If it is required to get printed with the multiple variables, in that case, we have to use the single quotes.
Multiple variables
Yeah,
in print.
yeah. So
Like,
it will be a concatenation with the double pipes.
no. I will cover
Okay.
concatenation in string. I mean, but you can, if you want to type in a two variables, you can use this also, x comma var 2. So we'll have string
Yeah, yeah.
a var variable 2. So it would print both the variables.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so you have already touched upon string concatenation. So let's do that. Okay, I think we should just do this part also, the length part. Okay, so print var2 prints the variable, entire variable, and there is a len function, len, that gives the length of the variable. So this was basically counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So space are also counted, and then if you go till end, it would be 16. Now, concatenation. So when many times you would want like to join certain strings, and that is called as string concatenation. And so there's an operator called plus. So this plus operator in mathematics, that is for addition. So if we say 2 plus 3, you'll get 5. Now instead of numbers, if we have some text or if we have strings, then what would happen? So if we have var1 equals hello, var2 equals world, and if we say var1 plus var2, it prints hello world. So whenever we use plus with two strings, it would just join those two strings. So that's concatenation.
Hello.
Yeah.
So var1 we join together, but if we want a hello world, there is a space. If we require a space, how do we get that? What would be
Okay.
the command then?
Correct. Okay, good. So one option is you can add space after hello and you will get space. But if you don't want this, you have these kind of hello and world, then, and while concatenation you want to add space, so you can do this plus and then space. So now we are concatenating three strings. First string is var1 plus, second string is space plus, third string is var2. So if you run this, you'll get hello world, space world.
Got it. Yeah.
Sir, then for that space, you need to go for double quotes. Is it double?
No, you can use single quote as well. That doesn't matter if you want to do this. Same thing.
Thank you.
Okay. So now there is another operator, concatenation operator called asterisk. Now asterisk in mathematics, it's multiplication. So 5 asterisk 5 is 25. Now here if we do var3 equals var1 asterisk 3 and then we print var3. So let's run this. We get hello, hello, hello. 3 times hello. So var1 was hello and var3 is now hello, hello, hello. So why we got this hello, hello, hello? It's pretty much similar to how multiplication works with numbers. So if you have 5 asterisk 3, this is basically 5 plus 5 plus 5. So same thing happens when you use asterisk here. So var1 asterisk 3 means var1 plus var1 plus var1. So hello, hello, hello. Okay. So I hope this is clear.
So concatenation has two function over here, matlab two kind of function in Python. That is one by plus and then by asterisk one.
Yeah, asterisk is just repetition.
Okay, that is the repetition, but the
Yes.
main one is the plus one we are
Yeah,
doing.
if you have different strings, you want to concatenate, then plus. If you want to concatenate same string multiple times, then asterisk.
The main one we have to consider the plus one, no? So
Yes. But sometimes asterisk is also useful. Okay.
So like here you have considered one more variable, that is variable 3.
Yes.
Can I just write it simply variable 1 into 3, the print variable 1 into 3? Would that work?
Yes, absolutely it would work when asterisk 3. Both have same output. Okay. Alright. So let's move on to slice of a string. Now slicing is just like you have a slice of a cake, you take some chunk out of the cake. Similarly, slicing of a string means you take some chunk out of a string. So let's see how you can take a slice of a string. How you can extract some component of a string from the full string. So the syntax is that you have some string and within square brackets you specify the start colon end position, that where do you want to start your slice and where do you want to end. Or you can give just the start position, it would go till end, or you can just give the end position and it would start from the beginning, or you can give start, end and step. Now let's take some example, because this is the syntax. Let's take some examples here. So let's say we have a variable called var4 and equals to a b c d e f g. That's var4. So we can print var4, it would print the string. Now we say print var4 within square brackets 1:5. Okay. So which means that, by the way, the numbering starts from 0. So the A is at 0th position. Although it's the first character, but its positioning, since the numbering starts from 0, so its position is 0. So when we say 1, that means we want to start the slice at first position. So which means A is 0, B is 1. So it would start at B and it would go till 1 minus the end position. Whatever end position we have specified, 1 minus that. So that means it would go till 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will have slice from B to E. Okay, so let's run this. So we got B, C, D, E. So with this slice, sure, okay. So I hope this part is, so we have a variable, we print the var4 and we got the var4 as it is. Now we want to take a slice of this var4. Slice basically means take a chunk out of the full string. Instead of full string, we want to take a chunk. Now when you want to take a chunk out of a full string, you need to specify that where do you want to start and where do you want to stop. What kind of chunk do you want? So we say we start at 1. Okay. So that means it would start at B. Why? Because the numbering of the string, characters are numbered starting from 0. So A is 0, B is 1. So we'll start at 1, colon, and then the end position. So it would go till 1 minus whatever end position we specify. So we say, so the end position would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, E. So we'll start at B because that's 1 and we'll go till E. So we'll extract this slice from the entire string. So that's the output. Okay.
Got it, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can't we start it from a 0?
Yes, you can. Sure, you can start from 0. A, B, C, D, E. There's no problem. I just want to give you the example that you can specify your own start position. You can have whatever start position you
Explain
want.
it again.
Sorry?
If
Sir,
we
could
don't
you
have the
explain?
particular position, if we have the character in that case,
So that then you need to find the index of that character first, and then you can specify the index. There's an index
okay.
function.
Yeah,
And
index function I was.
yeah. So sorry, there was another question somebody asking.
Yes, sir. Actually, can you explain it again, this thing?
Okay. Okay. So the point of having a slice of a string is that we want to take some chunk out of the full string. Instead of printing the full string, we want some substring kind of a thing that we want to extract from the string. Now to extract a chunk of the string, we need to specify that where do you want to start and where do you want to end. So start, we are saying this var4 within square brackets start at 1. So here 1 means B because the numbering of characters starts from 0. So A is at position number 0. So when we say 1 to 5, now it would go till 1 minus the end position. So which means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till E. So this B, C, D, E would be the slice when we say var4 1 colon 5. Okay.
I think so. One that is till F it would go.
Okay, because see, if you look at this F, so you are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6. F is at 6th position. So our slice is 1 colon 5.
Okay, but you are starting A as 0 now, so that's why, sir, I thought that maybe.
No, A is still 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So F is at 5 position, you are right. But the slice syntax is such that it takes the slice till 1 minus end position. It ought
Okay,
in the,
that
yeah,
till 4. Okay,
till
fine.
4. In the background, it would do 1 minus the end position. Okay.
Sir,
Sir, what
Yeah.
if there is a codon, like when we count the codons, when we have the codons? So how we are going to slice them? Like how we are going to have a chunk?
When you have a codons? What do you mean? I'm sorry, I couldn't get. So
Like
yeah,
there is like alanine and something. If we have a codon in this, like a 3 sequences codon. So
yeah,
how we are?
yeah. I know what is a codon, but what's your question? I'm not getting that. So let's say you have AAA, CCC,
Yes, yes,
GGG.
yes, yes, like that.
Then what? Then what is your question?
Like if we have to, like we have a 3 paired, na? So like 3 sequences. There is a codon of 3 sequences, like
Yeah,
3
yeah.
bases.
I know the codon. What is your question?
Yes, sir. How we can slice it in between?
You want chunks? What do you
Yes,
want? You
yes.
want three characters each?
Yes, three characters each. Yes.
So
How we can have?
okay. So then you can. I mean, one thing you can do is X and 0 colon 3 would be 1 codon and like that, and then 3 colon 6 another codon and so on. Is that what you are asking?
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
in the example ABC A to G, how if we want to go till the end, because next to G there is nothing, like how will we specify that position?
So either
Should it
you can just leave that. By default, it would go till the end. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah,
see, remember
that's
this this another syntax. So you just
Okay.
if you just specify the start position and don't specify the end position, it would go till end. And if you
Okay,
specify
thank you.
only the if you only specify the end position, it would start from the beginning.
Right.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, my question is how the the variable var4 is assigned with a string character data type, and when you are slicing it, it is considering is as a array data type. So how that data type is changing in the same, you're not assigning it as that as array, and still it is like changing to array.
Let's check this. Sorry, what happened? You're saying this is array.
I'm saying that var4, any argument with var4 is a string, okay, like A, B, C, D, F, G, H. But when you're slicing it, then that var4 variable content is now a array, right? That is why you're counting it from 0 to the position.
Okay. I get your question. So good
Yes.
question. Okay. So this, by the way, this output is still string. Now in Python, strings are lists itself. Strings are list of characters. This is or in other words, what string is an array of characters. So in Python. Okay. So this var4 is also an array where
Okay,
A,
sir.
B,
As that is answered.
yeah.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's quickly take some more examples of this slicing to just to get you a better idea of how it works. So print var3 hello, and if we say var3 :7, we are not specifying any start position. We are only specifying end position. So since it would start from 0. 1 minus this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till this hello he. So it should print hello he. Okay. And we are saying 3 colon end, it should print starting from the third position. 0, 1, 2, 3. Start from this L, go till end. Okay. So this is the step. Now this was simple start end. Now let's look at the step part. There's another thing, start and step. Now we have var3. Let's print var3 first. Hello. Now we say print var3. In the slice we say start at 2. Okay, so that means start at 0, 1, 2. We are starting at this L. Okay. We are not specifying any end position. That means go till end. So it will go till O. So the output we should have got is 0, 1, 2. We should have got this L. This entire thing we should have got as a slice if we have not given this 2. So what this 2 does is, this is a step. So by default step is 1. That means 1 means it would go from one character to another character to another character. When we say step size of 2, that means that 0, 1, 2 start at this L. Now from this L, instead of going to this next L, it would take 1, 2. It would go to this O. Then 1, 2 E, 1, 2 L, and so on. So let's just print this and see. So we got this output. Okay. So that's because of the step. So if we change the step to 3, and we get this. So it would start at 2, this L, then 1, 2, 3 H, 1, 2, 3 L, 1, 2, 3 E, and 1, 2, 3 O. Okay. So step specifies that how many characters to jump when you go from the start position to end position. The default step is 1.
So it's a jumping kind of thing.
Yeah.
We are providing in this.
Yes. The steps is like jumps. How many characters you want to jump when you are moving from start position to end position. Okay, so let's have a quick exercise.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
So
please
this
go ahead.
so this 3 is actually 3 or 2 minus 1?
No, 3. It's
3 minus
actually
1.
no, not 3
Okay.
minus 1. Actually 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. So the quick exercise is write a command that outputs triple H given a string hello hello hello. So you have a string hello hello hello. What slice would you write to output triple H? You may type the answer in the chat, or you can unmute and speak.
So I think so that is war 3 only, and then after that we'll do a jumping kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. So
That
what
is
what would be
once
that kind of
once dot that is no, sorry, 0 dot 5 I think so. 0
okay,
dot 5.
0.5
0
colon
step 4.
0:4. Okay, so I'm seeing some answers in the chat. var3 0:4. Okay, so let's answer is there in the chat. Okay, now I have a right answer in the chat. So yeah, so first 0 is again optional. I mean, if you don't specify 0, it would always 0 means start from the beginning, and if you don't specify 0, it would start from the beginning. So if we just say colon 5, that means start from the beginning, go till the end, and jump 5 characters. It would print triple H. Right. Okay. Yeah. And print 0:5 is not enough. You also need to specify var3 square brackets 0:5. Okay. You're taking a slice of the string. All right. Let's move on to string comparison. So many times we need to compare strings. Okay. We need to check whether two strings are same or they are not same. Then how we can check that? So we have var1 equals hello, and var2 equals hello, var3 equals hi. And if we say print var1 equal to, so these are two equal to's together, var2. Now when we have 1 equal to, that is called as an assignment operator. When we
Can
have
you start this string comparison once again? I just
okay. So basically, I mean, the idea is how can we compare two strings? If we have two strings, how can we check whether the two strings are same or not? So that's the point of string comparison. So we declare 3 string variables, var1, var2, var3, and in print we say var1 equals to var2. Now note here the 2 equal to part. These two when we have two equal to symbols together, that is a comparison operator. And whenever we use comparison operator, the output is always a Boolean value. That means output will always be true, false, 0, 1, yes, no, that kind of output. So when we say var1 equal to var2, so it would look at the value of var1, which is hello, value of var2 is hello. So the answer would be true. This is yes, they are same. So yeah, true. var1 equal to var3, var1 is hello, var3 is hi. So answer is false. So if you run this, you get true and false. Okay, so that's the simple idea of string comparison. And this is case sensitive. So if you make var3 equals hello with lowercase h, and then if you say print var1 equal to var3, so var1 is hello, var3 is hello, but in var1 h is uppercase, in var3 h is lowercase. So this should be false. They're not same because the comparison is case sensitive. Okay, so in
So the string can be compared to integers or
no,
float.
no.
Okay.
So can it tell which position it is changing comparison or just say yes or no?
It's just yes or no. Nothing changes.
Okay, no, it doesn't say which position is changed on a small capital H or small h.
No. It won't give you how exactly they are different. That information is not given. It just tells you they are different or they're same. Yeah. Okay. So So in Python data types, when you talk about data types, there is a concept of
Sir, one question before you
yes,
go to data types.
yes, yeah,
I have two tables. Say, for example, each
tables.
table, yeah, each table is containing 10 variables. All of
Okay,
them are strings.
okay,
I want to compare whether the two tables have some common variables, and that I want to store it in a different table. How can
correct.
I do that?
Okay, so that is a little advanced thing. And first of all, tables. I don't know why you're calling tables. I mean, you should first convert it into array or a list. In Python, it's called as a list. There's a data type called list. And I think you should refer to my list chapter in the book, and then on tuples and sets chapter. Go through those chapter, and that might answer your question. If it doesn't, then we can communicate
Okay,
offline.
sir. Okay,
Okay,
sir.
yeah, because that those things comes pretty later in this book. I mean, they are, I mean, covered, but I mean, you first need to have fundamentals in place. Okay, so in Python there is a concept of immutability. Some data types are mutable and some are immutable. So as in biology, the term mutation means it can be changed. So if DNA mutates, it changes, right? So strings are immutable. You cannot change a string. For example, if you have var1 equals high, you cannot change the value of var1. I mean, you cannot change high. You can reassign value. For example, if say x equals high, and then we say print x, it prints high. Now I can of course change the value to hello, print, sorry, x. I can, so whenever I'm using equal to operator, I'm assigning it. See, so I assign a value of high and assign a value of hello. So you can for sure reassign the value, but you cannot change the value without reassignment. So that part, this concept is called as immutability. You cannot change the value of a variable in place. Once you can reassign it, but you cannot change it. So
If I'm
strings are, yeah,
if I'm writing a text, can I use just one? Basically, using this, can I use just one variable to write the entire text? Is it like limited to a few times, or I can do it as many times I want?
uh, if you're writing I'm sorry, I couldn't get exactly what you're asking.
You're
So,
you're reassigning the value again and
yeah,
again for the
yeah,
same variable, right?
yeah, yeah.
So which means I can use the same variable for an entire thing to write. Can I do that?
That's you can do that, but that's really not a good idea. I mean, because variables, here I'm just calling it x, y, var1, var2. They are random things. But when you're actually coding, you have variables to store some information, some specific information, like you have username, student name, student roll number, and so on. So you can't just say I'll save name also in the name variable and roll number also in the name variable. That doesn't make much sense. Okay, so you'll have dedicated variables for whatever you want to store. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so strings are immutable. There are certain other data types which are mutable, like lists. So we'll go into that. Okay, so now the point of splitting strings. So let's say if you have a string and you want to split it based on some pattern. So how we can do that? So let's say we have a string variable s1 equals to, and I say this is a sentence, and then I say words1, this is some variable name, this could be anything, equals to s1, this string variable dot split. Now notice that split is a function, parenthesis open, parenthesis close. So we are using split function on a string, and then we say print words 1. So let's run this. So we get this is a sentence. So what this split function has done is it has taken this string, and wherever there's a space, it has cut that string. So there was one space over here, so it says this, and then a space over here is, and then a space over here and then a sentence. So when you use split function, by default it would split a string wherever there is a space, and since so this one string gave us a list of 4 strings. So that's what split does. Now we can change the pattern on which it would split, because default is space. Let's say we want to split based on comma. Wherever there is a comma, it should split. Oh, by the way, these hash, whenever I add a hash in front of a sentence, in front of a statement, that statement becomes a comment. That means it won't get executed when I run this. So if I run this now, so I have S2, this is another sentence, a longer one. So there are 2 commas in this sentence. I say words2 equals to S2, this variable dot split, and then within split I say based on comma. So if I don't specify anything, it would split based on space. I can specify any delimiter here. So this is called as a delimiter. Where do you want to cut? And then if I say print words2, I get this is an, first cut it at is at this comma, then another sentence, and then a longer one. So this is how split works. Okay. Now let's say if I, just a quick exercise, if I use this string, this is another sentence, a longer one, and here I use delimiter is. So how many chunks would I get? How many, like you saw this, 2 chunks, okay, 2,
2.
Alright,
3, 3,
3.
okay,
Still not got
3,
this one.
okay. So let's run this
3.
with
3.
is 3.
2,
So
2.
we'll actually will get 3. So here is why we'll get
This
3.
also we have IS.
Yes. So what this one split would be at is, this part, and there would be another split at this is. So th would be the first.
Sir, it is whatever we are mentioning in the braces one. So that only part is splitting.
Yes.
Other is okay. If we are comma, then it is automatically space one, and if it is specified one, then specified one is splitted.
Yes. So if you say comma, it splits based on comma. Wherever there is comma, it would split there. But in this case, we have specified is, so it would say, so this split at this is, so th would be the first element, and then this space, because between this is and this is there is a space, so we'll have a space, and then at this is, after this is there is nothing, so this entire thing would be one thing, this one thing. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello. Sir, I have 2 queries.
Yeah.
First thing that the thing you have written words 1, words 2. Is it showing variable or is it a function?
It's a
Like
variable.
just as the
It's
X
a variable.
in the same way you have used words, right?
Yes. Yeah, we can use x also. Yes.
Okay. And second query is that in the first S1, this is a sign in that instead of every space, if we want these is together, a sentence together, can it be possible? Like, is it possible to do so?
So with split function, that's not possible, because split would just take the delimiter and split it. So if you want this as entire thing and this as separate, then you can go for slicing. You can take the slice of the string and you can specify the index, start position, end position. It would give you this S, and then you give a start position from this A and end position till the end, it would give you the rest of the string.
So, sir, in regard to this, it will count the spaces also?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So if we count this
I have a
as a
query.
word, T would be 0, H would be
Yes.
1, I would be 2. In that way we have to count, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Including space.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I have a query.
Yes.
Yeah, if yes, one the string is have the variable will have only one word. This if we need to split T and H I S means what is the syntax?
Okay.
How can we
So,
write only a
okay.
single word?
Only a single word. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. I got your question. So, in Python, as I mentioned that this strings are a list itself. So if you have a single word, sorry. So if you have a single word x is equal to, let's say, hello, and print x, but if you want to have these as characters, HELLO, so basically it's a list. So whatever you want to do with the list, you can do with this x itself. So for example, if you want to iterate through the list, or to one by one print elements of list, we can use for loop. Again, this comes in later chapters. So for, let's say, characters in x, print characters, so it prints hello, 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 I mean, sorry, HELLO. Yeah, so a word
It will print one by we
So do
can't
we
able to
so do we
will
use
not
for
leave the
loop for
space in
this?
between each and every letter. We
wait
can't
wait
do like that.
wait let I think Preetha asked this question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead. Do you
Yes,
have a
sir.
question? Yeah, do you have a follow-up question on this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We can't leave a space in between each and every word because a string you mentioned is a list of character, right?
Yeah. So what we can't do? Sorry, I couldn't get that.
Here the hello had been printed one by one.
Huh.
So we can't able to print like space H space E space
We
L.
can. So we can modify the print part, and we can say,
Okay.
so it by defaults, the print, whenever prints, as we saw previously also,
Okay.
that if we say print hi and print hello, it prints in two different lines. That's because by default print statement print whatever there is and goes to the next line. So if you want to change that behavior, you don't want to go to the next line, you can change this by end equals, let's say, space. So it would say print hi hello. So similarly in this case, you can say end equals, let's say you want to print these characters with spaces, so you can just do this and HELLO.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
now I got the thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So there was somebody else also saying something.
Yes, sir. Do we use a kind of for loop for this? Like
See, when you want to, so this is a list, this words one and all these are lists. So whatever is, whenever we have a collection of some strings or a collection of numbers, that collection in Python is called as a list. And when we have to work on the elements of the list or each of the components of a list, then we use for loop. Is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question.
Yes.
We could get them the hello by getting the space in one, you can say in a line, in a horizontal line. Can we get them in a capitals or small letter, or we will get them as it is in the string?
As it is.
Okay.
Yeah. But by the way, if you want to make all small, all capital, there are some functions. I don't know if they're up to upper, to lower, and so on. Oh yeah, these ones are there. So if you have some string, if you say to upper, it would change all the characters to uppercase and lowercase and so on. You can just practice those. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So I think I'll stop here. Just practice this string part, what we have discussed.
Sir,
And
excuse me,
yes,
sir.
yes.
Sir, does this double quotes and single quotes, does it really makes any difference?
No. I mean, you can use either one of them, but make sure you are using same. You cannot have one single quote and one double quote. Either you use single quotes or you use double quotes.
For example, sir, in the first one you have given, and the first example, hi and hello. So if in this print hi and hello, I am writing within double quotes, and in the next statement, hello is written within single quotes. So will that make any difference in my output?
No, it
Thank
won't.
you so much, sir.
Okay.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So can you once again tell the function of delimiter, but why we have used a delimiter? That
Okay. So see, when we are splitting a string, now split is based on some pattern, some criteria on which you split. There has to be criteria. Okay, you have a string, you want to split it. So what is that criteria? So in this case, when we say s1 equals to, this is a sentence, words 1 equal to s1 dot split, here we are not giving any delimiter. So the default criteria is space, or default delimiter is space. That means wherever there is a space in a string, it would cut there. But when we are working with strings, we don't always want to split a string on the basis of space only. We might have some different um, approach towards what we want to get out of a string. We want to, let's say, split it on some other pattern. For example, one of the common uses, when you have list of email IDs and you just want to get the username part and not the, let's say, domain part. So, because when you have some email ID, you have some name and then @ let's say gmail.com. So you don't want @ gmail.com, you just want the first before @ So in those cases, you will split on the basis of @ and take the first, whatever the first chunk you get. So that would be the username and the second chunk would be the domain name. So that's one practical example of this split is. So depending upon what you're doing, so in this case, you can either specify a comma, for example, and then you can split on the basis of comma.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, like if we want to split the two words, like from at this another sentence, so it is going to cut both another sentence from there.
Sorry, which one? S2 are you talking about?
Yes, I'm talking about S2. Yes.
S2. This is an comma, another sentence, comma, a longer one. Yeah.
Yes. If we consider both another sentence to cut from here, so how will we be able to split it?
No. Both what? Both means?
Okay.
What do you mean both?
We cannot consider both.
What is both?
Like another sentence, the two words, another sentence.
If we
want to split.
So we can have this. You want a delimiter as another sentence.
Yes.
Okay, so let's put this here, and let's run this. So we got this.
Okay.
Is this what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
This is in continuation with this splitting. So when we do this, there is a portion like it does not has a value. Like this question may be absurd one, maybe like I want to ask, it has no value. Like you have splitted this S2 with another sentence for this example. Like the two chunks in between, they do not have any characters in between. So like does this has any significance?
No, I'm not getting. What do you mean? Those two characters don't have any characters in
Like
between?
the output in the output we got 1, 2, 3, 4, I think.
No. See, the output is just two
Three
chunks. The output
Okay.
is two chunks. I'll just remove the commas because commas are creating confusion. So
Yeah.
now I have this is another sentence, a longer one, and I split on the basis of another sentence. So I
Yeah.
get two chunks. One is this is an, and the
Yeah.
second is a longer one.
Okay. So, okay, this is clear. Now, the examples which you gave, like if we use is as the
Mm-hmm.
delimiter,
Mm-hmm.
in that example, you
Mm-hmm.
said we got three chunks, right?
Yes.
So can you just do this one?
Yeah. So
Run this.
when we use is, so the first split would be on this is. Okay. So if
Yeah.
you cut here, the first chunk would be th. So we get
Yeah.
th. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so and this second split would be on this is. So between this is and this is, there's a space. So
Yes.
that space would be another chunk.
Okay. Will that be considered as a chunk? That's what my question.
Yes. Space is a character. Space is not just
Okay.
something blank. Space is a character.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, so, we have to consider both the space and the particular one which we are giving in the braces one.
No. We only have to consider whatever we have given in this quotes. That's our delimiter. So if
Matlab, that too is fine, but you are making a space one also, no? After that.
see space,
After yes, this one you are counting.
yes, that would be counted because the cut is on basis of is. Wherever there's is, there would be a cut, and if there's a space in between, that would be considered as a chunk of splitting. Does that?
Matlab, okay, matlab, you wanted to say after this both the things in that thing we have to consider. Matlab, likewise.
Both the
Is
things?
is an other thing which you are getting into that. So both we have to consider particular one in the braces one.
No, in the quotes, you
Um,
specify the delimiter.
that is the delimiter we are specifying, and the space if it is there, it is automatically counted. Otherwise, it is left.
Yes.
And the sir, other thing is that default delimiter is one is default is the delimiter in that is the space one,
Yes.
and the other one is automatically which we are providing. That is
Yes.
both kind of delimiter is in Python one. Matlab, I think so, which
No,
you are
sorry.
explaining.
No. What was the
So,
last?
types of delimiters we go to that. So that is first is the default delimiter is the space one, and the other is that which we are providing that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Fine.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
So this is regarding one example that we discussed in slice of a string, right? So somebody asked if we have if I have a nucleotide sequence and then we have to split it codons, triplet codons. So you said that we have to give the command again and again, right? So then we can have triplets. Now let's say we have a nucleotide sequence of 1,000 base pairs. All right. So how, I mean, it doesn't make any sense that it's just a format change. I need, instead of continuous sequence, I want triplet codons to be separated. All right. So do we have to write the the splice command again and again, or is there any shortcut to this?
See, so again, if I think you should, when you get time, read the book because when you do want to do repetitive things, okay, whenever there is any repetition kind of thing that you're doing, because in this particular example that you're saying, so you have to specify slice again and again and again, right? So in these cases, we use something called as loops. There's a chapter on loops in the book, so go through that chapter. So once you have understood the concept of loop, then you can just simply write a for loop and it would start giving you those triplets one by one. So you don't have to write 1,000 times.
Okay, so we have to just simply use loops like
Yes.
regular command. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Use loops with the loop and then be slicing. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so I think that's all for today, and let's meet day after tomorrow, where we'll cover Biopython.